Hi, I am TJ with Living in South Carolina. If you're considering a move to Columbia or already making plans, this video is for you. Today, I'm going to walk you through the top 5 things people often regret after relocating to Columbia, South Carolina. These are not universal deal breakers, but they are the kinds of surprises and pain points we hear about from real people who have made the move. I want you to have an honest look at what daily life here is really like, so you can make the best possible decision for yourself. If you have questions or need help evaluating the move, our real estate division is always available to help. Just reach out to info@livinginsc and someone from the team will get right back to you. Let's start with something almost everyone underestimates: the weather. Columbia isn't just hot in the summer, it's a particular brand of heat that can be tough to adjust to, especially if you're coming from the Northeast, Midwest, or really anywhere outside the Deep South. We're talking months of daily highs in the 90s with humidity levels that regularly hover above 60 to 70%. That humidity means sweat doesn't evaporate, so you feel sticky and overheated just walking to your car. Here's where the regret comes in. A lot of new arrivals think, oh, I've done hot summers before, how bad could it really be? But living with it day after day is different. Some people find their outdoor routines totally change. You might walk your dog at dawn instead of the afternoon. Jogging, gardening, or even basic yard work becomes early morning or late evening tasks. Or you just wait until fall. And if you have pets that don't handle heat well, it's a real concern. There's also the cost angle. Air conditioning isn't a luxury here, it's a survival tool. You'll probably run it from late April through October, and it's not unusual for utility bills to double or even triple during the worst months. If you're budgeting for your move, be sure to factor the higher electricity bills into that. Potential maintenance on AC units, which run hard here, and possibly even upgrading insulation or window treatments. Finally, people are sometimes surprised by how the climate affects day-to-day things. Mold can be an issue in older homes, wood floors swell, and if you're sensitive to allergens, Columbia's pollen season is no joke. Some new residents invest in dehumidifiers, air purifiers, or extra maintenance to deal with this. So the regret isn't just it's hot, it's underestimating how much that heat and humidity impacts your whole routine and even your wallet. Another big one is traffic. Columbia is a mid-sized city, but for its size, the congestion can be unexpectedly frustrating. The city sits at the intersection of several major highways like I-20, I-26, and I-77, which sounds great for access, but in reality, these corridors are frequently clogged, especially during morning and evening commutes. What many people regret is not researching commute times or the impact of ongoing road construction. There's a lot of infrastructure growth here. New developments, expanding suburbs, and efforts to modernize roads that were designed for a much smaller population. That means construction zones are common, with detours, delays, and shifting traffic patterns, sometimes for months at a time. For example, if you work downtown but live in Lexington, Irmo, or Northeast Columbia, a 20-minute off-peak drive can easily turn into 45 minutes during rush hour, or when there's a football game at the University of South Carolina. Event weekends like big sports games or festivals bring even more traffic and limited parking, especially near downtown and campus areas. It's not just highways either. Some of the neighborhood roads aren't designed for heavy traffic, so accidents or road work can really back things up. And if you rely on public transportation, be aware, Columbia's system is limited, so most residents end up driving everywhere. A few people regret not thinking about this before moving, especially if they value short commutes or expect big city access without big city headaches. A smart move when you're considering a neighborhood, actually drive your commute at rush hour. It can be eye-opening, and it helps you avoid the disappointment of trading one daily frustration for another. Let's talk about amenities, because this is a big surprise for newcomers. Columbia is geographically spread out. and access to things like grocery stores, hospitals, shopping centers, and restaurants really depends on where you live. Some areas like Forest Acres, parts of Irmo, or downtown offer easy access to almost everything. Grocery chains, specialty markets, medical centers, coffee shops, and plenty of local dining options. Other suburbs or outlying areas may be quieter, less developed, or still up and coming. So you'll drive 15 or 20 minutes just to hit a major grocery store, Target, or an urgent care. Here's where the regret shows up. Some people move for a bigger house, lower price, or more land, only to find out that their daily errands take much longer. If you have specific needs, medical specialists, school fitness centers, or even particular retail stores, it's worth mapping out what's nearby before committing to a neighborhood. Convenience means different things to different people. For some, peace and quiet outweighs a short drive. But for others, it's a source of stress or inconvenience. It also affects your social life. If you want to be a part of Colombia's restaurant or music scene, living further out means you'll be driving more. And sometimes that means dealing with traffic and parking on the weekends. Now on the flip side, some residents love the suburban or rural vibe and don't mind the extra drive. Either way, the regret is usually about not matching your expectations for convenience to the realities of the specific area you choose. A tip from our real estate division: create a day in the life map for each area you're considering. Plug in your must-have places, work, schools, gym, doctors, favorite grocery stores, and see how it feels. This is a step a lot of people skip, and it can save you a lot of hassle down the road. Here's a practical one that often catches people off guard: the ongoing cost of home ownership in Colombia. Many neighborhoods feature older homes, sometimes with charming features, big yards, or historic character. But with age and climate comes maintenance. The high humidity, intense sun, and heavy rain mean you're going to deal with things like mold, mildew, warped decks, and sometimes foundation issues if drainage isn't perfect. Roofs, gutters, HVAC systems, and crawl spaces all need more frequent attention than drier, milder climates. Pest control is also just a regular fact of life in the South. Think termites, mosquitoes, and the occasional palmetto bug. Utility costs are also a big surprise. Air conditioning is almost always running in the summer, and some older homes aren't very energy efficient. Newer construction is improving on this, but it's still something to budget in. Water bills can also spike if you're trying to keep a lawn green during dry spells, and if you're in a flood-prone area, additional insurance may be required. One common regret: not budgeting for these hidden costs and being caught off guard by surprise repairs, insurance hikes, or energy bills. It's a good idea to set aside a home maintenance fund. Our real estate division typically suggests 1 to 2% of your home's value per year for ongoing repairs and improvements, especially if your house is more than 20 years old. If you're renting, some of these costs are covered, but you still want to factor in utilities, possibly renter's insurance, and climate impacts on your daily life. Finally, let's talk about expectations versus reality. Colombia has its own identity, and it's not trying to be Charleston, Greenville, or any other southern city. Some people arrive expecting the walkability, historic charm, or coastal energy of those cities and end up feeling disappointed. Columbia is a college town, home to the University of the South Carolina Gamecocks, a government hub, and a regional center for healthcare and the military. The downtown area has some revitalization, great restaurants, bars, and cultural venues, but it's still less walkable and more spread out than cities with denser historic cores. Nightlife is centered around student activity and a few key districts rather than a cohesive scene. The city's social calendar is heavy on sporting events, festivals, and outdoor activities. Now, if you're looking for a scene like Charleston or the small buzz town of Greenville's Main Street, you might regret not doing a little more research into Colombia's particular flavor. On the flip side, many people come to love the easy access to rivers, state parks, and a slower, less touristy pace of life. It's affordable, diverse in activities, and you're a 2-hour drive from both the mountains and the coast. In the end, the real regret for some is simply just not adjusting their expectations. Colombia offers a lot, but it's its own thing. If you embrace what's unique about it, great local food, passionate sports culture, and a blend of urban and outdoor lifestyles, you'll have a much better experience than if you try to make it fit a mold from somewhere else. Every city has pros and cons, and the goal isn't to scare anyone away, just to give you a clear, honest picture before you make the big life move. If you want more details on specific neighborhoods, cost breakdowns, or lifestyle questions, reach out to our real estate division at info@livinginsc.com. They're local experts and can give you the straight answers. If you found this video helpful, subscribe for more no-nonsense updates about living in South Carolina. And drop your questions in the comments. What do you want to know about daily life in Colombia or anywhere else in the state? Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.